Hi guys, hope you all are doing well and had a good day in the market. We start with the disclaimer as always. Anything and everything that will be shared in here is purely for educational purposes only, right? If you have to take any trades, do consult your financial advisor, right? So here is the disclaimer. Pause it, read it till the end, right? Every single word. And we are a SEBI registered research analyst, right? So there you go, right? Pause it, read it. Excellent. So, what did we analyze yesterday, or rather during the weekend, right? We said, let me open that summary. We were basically expecting a gap down and a sharp selling, which did not happen, right? So, this is the retest that we spoke about. We will touch on it, right? Okay. So, this is the level that we looked at, right? 24,613, and that, we're going to be super bearish below that, right? And we were basically expecting a sharp selling based on Elliott wave. That did not happen. Nifty opened more muted, and then, Nifty was up 20 points, and Bank Nifty was down 60 points, right? So not what we anticipated, right? Excellent. So what next from here, right? And we also had touched on several possibilities, right? We'll go through that, all of that, right? So plan for tomorrow, right? And how are we going to look at the markets, right? So if we look at price, this is more an inside bar, right? Because the price has remained within the high and low of the candle that we saw on Friday, right? As long as the high and low is protected, we're going to get into a sideways market, right? So for any trend to emerge, 24,787 has to be taken out on the upside, and 24,532 has to be taken out for the sell on rise to continue, right? And if you recall, these were the levels that we spoke about, and we said, this could possibly, act as a short term support, right? So this is also in line because today we got that buying. Let me also add volumes to see how the volumes were, right? Not significant. I mean, ever since Jane Street stopped, the trading in the Indian market and options, we've not had, great volumes except, on 22nd July in here, right? Which was a Tuesday, right? So this is an area that needs to be continued to be watched, right? And for all, we could get into a consolidation within this, and we could also consolidate like this, right? Because one of the possibilities, I don't recall who it was, but one of you had posted was this. Can this be a possible head and shoulder, right? So this is something that may evolve, right? And has to be kept open because I think this is an area where we have multiple supports, right? We spoke about this in detail, 1 2 3 touch points, and this is where the markets went up, right? So breaking it won't be that easy, right? So we're in that short term support, right? Given the news, we were expecting a gap down. That did not happen, and that's something which is common, right? Because I think today the markets would have given the liquidity for the big guys, right? Typically, on a news like this, we would tend to short the market, and then these guys would take it up, because that is reminding me of here when we were looking at a gap down a day before. That did not happen, and then I think 2 days after, the market gave this big move, right? So when we anticipated a gap down, it did not, and when we did not, the markets gapped down, right? So things are a bit tricky in how the markets are evolving, right? Excellent. So price in isolation is bearish because yesterday's high is still protected, and we've got an inside bar, right? So there is no change as yet. The question here is this a divergence building up? Let me pull it in the lower time frame because I do recall seeing that, which was this low to this low, right? There was a small mild divergence, right? There you go, 75 minutes, and the price ended up doing higher high here, right? So on a lower time frame, clearly things are bullish. but on a larger time frame, we're still sell on rise, right? So that is price, basically a pause and inside bar, indecisive, what the market wants to do. For me, would still consider this as a bounce, right? Not a change of trend, but a corrective bounce up, right? Because the trend overall, if you look at from the top, we've done this in detail during the weekend analysis. So if you haven't watched, please go and watch it. It is mandatory. If you're watching our video for the first time, right? Excellent. So that is that. Looking at open interest today, clearly we had significant put writing, right? Look at that, 2 crores to 10 lakhs of call unwinding. The call unwinding is really not significant. It's more, the weak hands who've stepped down when compared to puts, but we had some, good put writing for sure, right? And this is, the overall open interest, and 24,700 seems to be a magnet. Quite a lot of straddles. So price is not bearish, but options data is indicating more, a sideways market in here, right? Because this is both, the short-term support and resistance, and we saw some, put writing in here. And given the world global situation of Trump, tariff on India, and earlier today our Prime Minister's comment. So something that is, unpredictable, right, in terms of how the news is evolving. But yeah, prices, at least what it is telling us is that this is a short-term support. We could either consolidate, or we could give this bounce in here like this, and then break this down. This is one possibility, right? So the overall tone remains, the trend remains sell on rise. Of course, corrections you get, the intraday opportunity. I am not too keen in going long as yet in this market, right? If the market is going up, I would wait for an opportunity to short, because I think that is what where the risk and reward is favorable for an entry, right? Keeping the position size small and all that. Excellent. So the other possibility that I wanted to share in here was this, right? This is something that we saw during the market today, but it did not evolve, which was this trend line, right? Look at that. I was expecting a rejection in here. It broke this trend line, a retest, and then I was expecting a faster move down south. That did not happen, and it went up, right? So that's that. And now let's move on to Elliott wave, is where things are getting really, really tricky, right? So if I were to mark this on a day time frame, right? Many of you had asked, let me, give it a shot and we'll get deep into it, right? So if I mark this on a day time frame, this to me clearly is a wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and wave 5, right? Which makes it one complete wave. For wave 2, or this is clearly the rise here is a wave 2, but from right from here till down, there's no retracement. The question in here is this entire bounce from here, are we doing wave 1, and this is wave 2 that is ongoing, 3, 4, and 5, right? This is something that is absolutely open. Let me get into a lower time frame and see if this can be made any sense, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 is 1 over here, right? Because what is happening here is, let me move this into a higher degree. That's a cycle. This is also a cycle. Pay attention, right? I'm going to look at it like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Is this a possibility? Because with today's bounce up in here, I think that's really evolving, right? I'm going to make it as minor, or something that with a circle. There you go, right? And then this is something that we discussed it in length, right? This being an ABC, right? There are two things. One, is this a zigzag open? Absolutely. Can we mark this as a corrective wave? Entire wave is corrective wave? Absolutely. I think we've um, discussed all of that in length as the markets were evolving, right? Can I label this as corrective? Yes, we certainly can. But with today's move, this looks like, 3, 4, and 5. as one of the possibilities, right? So are we forming wave 2 in here? May or may not, right? We don't know. But what we know for sure is if it breaks this low in here, right? We're unfolding wave 3. So 24,554 also, which is yesterday's low, is going to be very, very important, right? Look at that, how beautifully things are evolving, right? Which is yesterday's low. And on a lower time frame, this could be 2, right? Now, if I zoom into this bounce in here, which is, what happened today, there were two possibilities evolving, right? Initially, I was looking at this as an ABC. Pay attention, guys. A, B, and C. This is, the possibility that I was looking at. And, C was more looking like this in here when the markets were evolving, and then we got that dip, and then, it lethargically went up. The question here is, are we still, forming an ABC in this pattern, which is this, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 5 as an edge, as a wedge, right? An ending diagonal. This is one of the possibilities that are open, right? There's no divergence as yet, right? I can mark this as an ABC. When will I validate this? If the market gaps down tomorrow and breaks 24,535, right? That is when I would validate this. Or what we could do is this entire move could be A, and we could be doing B this entire expiry, right, in the form of a complex correction, and or a triangle. Both the possibilities are open, and then we could do C up, right? This is possibility number one. The other possibility is this entire move from in here being a leading diagonal, right? This is also something that I was looking at earlier today, right? So this can also be leading diagonal, right? Or this could be a 1 or an A. Both of them are open, right? So if tomorrow we open a flat opening, and then we complete 2 in here, um, you know that this could validate this, and then breaking the high of 1 or A, there will unfold wave 3 or wave C, right? Both the possibilities are open. India VIX has cooled off, right? So not a great premiums that we have for selling when compared to the risk, right? Things are not adding up. So buying is the only way on a market like this. Um, and with the given different variables, Mr. Trump, and Russia, China. I think every other country is responding to Trump, right? Including India, Russia, and China. So the friction is building up, right? So something that we'll have to closely keep an eye on to see how things are evolving. So this is the plan for me tomorrow. Certainly, not looking keen on selling options as yet, right? Given the risk, doing the buying in a very small way. So let's see how this evolves. So pretty much that is all I had, right? So bullish above, when this wedge completes, right? If it and then we correct. These are the two possibilities, right? If we do this correction, and then if it breaks out, this is going to be a bullish scenario. The bearish scenario is when we do a gap down, and then do retest, and then this, right? This is going to be my bearish scenario. Sorry about that, right? So that is all I had, guys. Do comment as always. What is your plan? I'm certainly not too inclined towards going long as yet, right? Because I think the trend is still sell on rise, and we'll see how the things evolve, right? It's a matter of time. And is this bounce that we had today? I'm keeping both the possibilities open. Is it corrective? Possible. Is it impulsive? Change of trend? Possible. Has the price confirmed it? No, because today is the only day where we've seen that inside bar, and the high and low is what we've marked in here, right? It needs to break, and that is when we will be bullish or bearish. And continue to stay cautious, guys. Have a great rest of the evening. Do comment. I'm absolutely curious to learn from you the view that you have for the market. How did you how are you looking at the market? And do comment. Happy to learn from you. Cheers. Bye all. Have a great rest of the evening. Cheers.